The first thing we're going to talk about is Donald Trump, specifically Donald Trump's mugshot. So, you've all heard about this, no doubt. It's been a couple of weeks since this happened, about 2 weeks. And yeah, I'm kind of jumping on the bandwagon a little bit late for this, but I think it's worth commenting on just because the reaction from the right wing has just been hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So, as you all know, this mugshot was in connection with Donald Trump's fourth indictment. 4 times this motherfucker's been arrested, and with good reason and good cause, and I'm happy that they're actually taking this shit seriously. So that's good to know that Donald Trump is being held accountable. Because that was kind of the fear, right? The fear was that nobody was going to do anything about it the whole time when he was breaking all these laws as president. When he was the president, as he was just repeatedly breaking the law over and over and over again, one thing that everybody said is that, well, nobody's going to do anything to hold him accountable because he's the president. And to be honest, folks, I didn't think that they were going to do anything to hold him accountable either, even after he left office. I kind of thought that even after January 6th and all of that, I thought that once he left office, that would be it. And it would just be over. And I was kind of getting the feeling that it would have. If he just would have kind of done what every other ex-president does, which is just sort of fade away into obscurity, I think they would have left him alone. I think he would have got away with all of it. He would have got away with January 6th. He would have got away with trying to steal the election. He probably even would have got away with the whole, the first thing that he got busted for, which was the Stormy Daniels thing. If you remember that he got arrested for that because it was illegal. It was like fraud. And I think they probably wouldn't have arrested him for that either. But the thing is that he just didn't go away. Not only did he run again, which is fine, that's his right and everything, but the whole time he was just basically taunting them, taunting the police, taunting the Justice Department to try to do something about it, saying it was fake news, saying the whole thing was made up and all this, and that they're out to get him and all this other crap. And as time went on, Donald Trump's rhetoric has gotten more and more violent. And it was just sort of like, you poke the bear, they arrested his ass. So they basically said, okay, we can't let this go. And, the thing is, folks, I don't think that any of Donald Trump's arrests or anything like that are politically motivated. I do not. I don't think that's the case. And the reason why I say that is because if any evidence were to come out that somehow anybody within the Biden administration was in communication or coordinating with any of the different DAs that have decided to indict Donald Trump, if that came out, that would be a massively gigantic scandal. That would be something actually worth impeaching the president over, if that was the case. And I really do believe that Biden has taken a hands-off approach specifically for that reason. I mean, first off, the president is not supposed to direct the Department of Justice to do anything. The Department of Justice is supposed to be autonomous, and for good reason. And we know that it kind of really wasn't under the Trump administration, right? They kind of stuck their nose out a lot to protect Donald Trump with all of his shenanigans. And I think Biden is probably taking this hands-off approach on purpose, specifically for that reason. But still, I also think, though, that a lot of the DAs probably would have let shit slide if Donald Trump just would have disappeared and just gone on and retired, and that's it. The same way that Bill Clinton did, the same way that George W. Bush Jr. did, all of the ex-presidents, because that's what you're supposed to do as an ex-president. You're supposed to go off and play golf. Maybe you go in and do some stuff for charities or something like that. Maybe you fundraise, but generally you're supposed to stay out of politics. And he didn't do that. And I really think if he just would have done that, they probably would have let him go. The DAs probably would have said, okay, he's not, whatever. It's too late. But he didn't do that. He wanted to stick his nose in it. He ran for president again, and I really think that there's a fear among the establishment that he may try to seize power again, the same way that January 6th came around. And then I think that really had a hand in kind of tipping the scales and saying, okay, well, maybe we should do something about all these crimes, right? While we have the chance. Like, if we don't do it now, and he becomes president again, then we'll never be able to hold him or anybody else involved accountable. So, just my personal opinion. I mean, I'm just a guy on the internet. What do I know? So, anyway, getting back to the subject at hand, went off on a bit of a tangent there. This time, we got a mugshot. Now, what was Trump indicted for this time? This was in connection to the fake elector scheme, and also him calling the governor of Georgia and basically ordering the guy to find votes for him. You know, all I want is 11,000 votes, one more than what we had, right? Or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And basically, that is against the law. That is election interference. It is against the law in Georgia. The thing here is that this is a Georgia state law that he's being indicted for. So even if he becomes president, he won't be able to pardon himself if he gets convicted for this. So he will have to serve jail time. And how is that going to work out? I don't know. I can't imagine myself the Republican Party keeping him on as if he gets convicted. Like, let's say for whatever reason he wins the nomination, which he most likely is. He's on track to win the nomination. And then he gets convicted and is ordered to spend jail time. I really cannot see the Republican Party saying, okay, well, we're just going to run with him even though he's been convicted. I don't see that happening. I see them kind of holding another primary or something, or just handpicking another another candidate. You know, it's probably going to be DeSantis or something if that happens, right? I mean, that's personally what I think DeSantis is waiting for. I think DeSantis knows that he has no chance of beating Trump in the primary, and I think he's just hanging on, hoping that Donald Trump goes to jail, because that's really the only chance he's going to get the ticket, right, to get the nominee. So I want to show you guys some stuff. Let's turn on my main window here. Nope, wrong one. There we go. This is Donald Trump's mugshot. And, yeah, he looks a little pissed off. Wouldn't you say? Looks a little angry. This is actually a tweet from Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake here. This is a look that says, retribution is coming. Just wait. What a fucking... And that's what I get about Trump's sycophants. They just take every opportunity to just, like, shove all of Trump's balls in their mouth every single chance they get. Look at this, look at this. Does it say retribution is coming? That's not what this says to me. You know what this says to me? This is the face of someone who's been told no for the first time in his life. See, Donald Trump, folks, for those of you out there who have not really considered any of what this man really is all about, the minute he was conceived as a zygote, he had more money than you or I did, will ever have, or will ever see in our entire lives. Just the nanosecond that his daddy's sperm went into his mother's egg, he was richer than you are, and richer than you will ever be. Okay. He had $100 million as a fetus. All right. His dad left him when his dad died. His dad left him $400 million. Okay. Imagine being a young man. I think he was like in his 30s or something like that when his father kicked the bucket. Imagine being like 33 and getting an inheritance of $400 million. And then blowing it and losing it all. Just what do you think that does to somebody? growing up, having all the money in the goddamn world, basically getting every single thing you've ever wanted in your entire life. I mean, money like that, it's not just about material things. It's like every material thing you ever want ever is just yours. Imagine being 5 years old and getting everything you want for Christmas. Just going through the catalog saying, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. All of it showing up under the Christmas tree. What do you think that does to somebody, right? Imagine, you hear stories about rich people who are just the biggest fucking assholes on the face of the earth, blowing money. A story comes to mind of Paris Hilton and her boyfriend who gave a homeless man $1,000 if he would let them dump a soda on his head. And the homeless man did it because he wanted $1,000. And you go, yeah, okay, well he made out like a bandit in that situation. But just think about that. Think about the kind of person who would be like, "Oh, I'll give you $1,000. You're poor, destitute, you're starving, you need money, but you got to let me just completely fucking humiliate you, make fun of you in front of my friends, and then I'll give you this lifeline so that you can eat for a few days." Like, think about the kind of person. That's the kind of person Donald Trump is, all right? And Donald Trump has spent his entire life acting like that. His entire life just getting revenge on people. You know, I believe in revenge myself. I believe in it. I believe if someone crosses you, you should cross them back. But there's a limit. There's a point. There's a point where it becomes not worth it. Donald Trump has never matured past that sort of childish notion of you hit me, I'm going to hit you back kind of thing. And personally, like there's a rumor that that's the entire reason why he ran for office in the first place, is because Barack Obama made an offhand comment or whatever about him not making it, and so he said, "Oh yeah, I'll show you." He wastes his money. He doesn't pay people. That's the other thing. He's a super rich guy that just stiffs every fucking person he comes across. He ends up paying more in court costs than it would cost just to pay the guy in the first place. And you hear story after story after story about contractors getting screwed for Donald Trump. And that happened while he was in office too. He would go off and have a rally at some town, and then, he's supposed to pay to like rent out a stadium or something. And when you do that, and like the town provides security through the police force, you're supposed to pay for that too. And then he would just stiff him. He just wouldn't pay him, and then he'd move on. And it was like stuff like that, right? Just this serial fucking cheapness. And you go, I thought the guy was supposed to be a goddamn billionaire. I mean, maybe that's how he got rich. He just got rich by not paying anybody anything. Even now, his lawyers now, all the lawyers that joined in on his scheme to steal the election, he's stiffed them, and he's not paying any of them. Even like, Rudy Giuliani. Apparently, Rudy Giuliani is broke as hell, and like was begging Donald Trump for money. And then Donald Trump finally said, "Okay, I'll have a fundraiser for you." Fundraiser? Why the fuck do you need a fundraiser? How about, I thought you were a billionaire? How about you pay for his fucking lawyer? Think about the kind of person that does that. Absolute zero loyalty to anybody. That's what this face tells me. That's what this face says to me. That he really doesn't want to be there. He really didn't want to take this picture. The cops basically said, you will take the picture or we will force you to. And so he had to do it, and he's extremely pissed off. I mean, look at him. Look at him. He's doing his best to mad dog the photo. But it's like a crying child. That's what I'm looking at here. Crying child. You notice how he's angling his head down? His head is down, like, with his chin down like that. You know why he's doing that? To hide his double chin. That's why he's doing that. He's trying to look mean, and he's trying to not look fat. Right? And the reason why I know that he's trying to not look fat is because he lied about his height and weight. Apparently they took the photo, but they didn't measure his height or his weight. Right? Because he self-reported his height and his weight, and said that his height and his weight was 215 pounds, and that he was 6'3", which is complete and total fucking bullshit. Donald Trump is not... No. That's just not true at all. He's not 6'3". He's way more than 215 pounds. I took some pictures. Well, I didn't take some pictures, but I found some pictures here of him. So here's a photo. Let me just go ahead and move this over. These are photos that I put on Reddit. Here's a photo of him hanging out with Barack Obama. Barack Obama is taller, you notice. Obama is 6'1". So Donald Trump is supposed to be 6'3", yet he's shorter than Obama. Don't know what's up with that. Here's another picture. Here's him hanging out with Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez is actually 6'3". And you can kind of see that he is at least 2 inches taller than Donald Trump. So if you look at this, Obama's about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. So Donald Trump is maybe 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall. But if you look here, you'll also notice that Donald Trump wears lifts in his shoes. Here's him hanging out with Justin Trudeau, trying to do his power shake shit on Justin Trudeau. And if you look, he's got high heels on. Of course, Justin Trudeau also has high heels. That's a thing with political leaders, apparently, is that they hate being short. Putin wears high heels, too. If you guys haven't noticed, Putin is like a fucking midget. Like, Putin is like 5'2" and shit. He's tiny as fucking hell. He definitely wears high heels. But look at the way Donald Trump is standing in this photo. See how he's standing, right? See how he's just sort of like up and then leaning forward like that? Why is he doing that? Why is he up and leaning forward? Because his heel is way up here. See, like these shoes, his heel is like there. He's wearing high heels, and it pushes him forward, so that he looks like he's walking around with a fucking giant salami jammed in his ass all the time, right, with his butt sticking out, because he's like wearing like lifts in his shoes because he's insecure about being short. You know, folks, if you're super fucking rich, why do you fucking care what anybody thinks? Like that's what I don't get about this guy, right? Practically every other rich person in the world doesn't give a fuck how they look. Maybe Andrew Tate, but like every other rich person on earth doesn't give a fuck. You know why? Because they have confidence. You know why they have confidence? Because they're rich. They know that people are going to talk shit, and you can't be the best ever. You can't be the most beautiful ever. You're not going to be the most intelligent in anything. And really, it doesn't fucking matter what other people say, especially when you have millions of dollars. I mean, the one thing that would make me not give a fuck about anybody else is like an incredibly huge amount of wealth. Right? I don't know about you. If I was super fucking rich, I would wear whatever the fuck I wanted. I'd have my hair however I wanted. If I felt like it, I'd like, I'd walk around like, I don't know, wearing my pajamas all day. Like fucking Charles Adams or something. From the Adams family, just walking around with his silk pajamas all day because it's comfortable. Right? I'd be doing that because fuck it. Because who the fuck cares? And they could say whatever the fuck they want to say. You're rich, so fuck him. He doesn't do that. You know why? Because he's super insecure. That's what this says to me. And it really gets me because the right wing is like trying to push this as like, oh, it's on now, and look how tough Donald Trump is and all this other shit. And it's like the most pathetic fucking thing ever. So one thing we're starting to see are these solidarity mugshots. These things are fucking hilarious. This is from somebody named Amy Kremer. I stand with my colleagues fighting for election integrity. The 2020 election was stolen and I'm not afraid to say so. And she took her own mugshot to be in solidarity with Donald Trump. I don't know who Amy Kremer is. I get this the suspicion that she's just a person. I mean, I don't know. Is she a pundit or something? I don't know. I think she's just some rando out there. Just really, it's like, wow, this is the guy that you're gonna humiliate yourself for. This is the guy that you're gonna throw your fucking blood in. I can't name a more despicable person as far as character traits go. I mean, Donald Trump, yeah, he never murdered anybody that we know of. He's not like an African warlord or a terrorist or anything like that. He's not running a cult, like a sex cult, or like, kidnapping people's children, shit like that. I mean, he might be a rapist, we don't know. Right? But he's not the worst person on earth, by far. But I don't think I could name anybody who has a worse personality or character than Donald Trump. Like, I don't know. I think maybe with the possible exception of Andrew Tate, I think Andrew Tate might be a bigger piece of shit than Donald Trump. Right? But I think if you were to put both of those men in a room, they would probably end up killing each other. Each one of them is like such a fucking gibbering narcissist that they wouldn't be able to tolerate the other person. Like, that's what I think. You know what I mean? Like, I really can't. I mean, he's up there. He's like one of the worst people that I can possibly think of. And I'm not judging this by his personality, Donald Trump. I'm judging this by his actions. Your actions speak louder than your words. And yeah, he says a bunch of stupid shit, blah blah blah. He's been an asshole to people, whatever. But his actions tell a different story. This is a person who ripped people off for a living, Trump University and all that. Just straight up rips people off. Like, even now, to this day, like, I mean, you remember the NFT thing? Donald Trump's NFTs, like, just ripping people off? You remember, like, I mean, even now, like there's all these stories about how somebody would go and donate to his campaign, and it would click a button automatically that says to make this campaign donation like a recurring thing. So somebody would go there and they donate like $1,000, and then like 3 months will pass, and then like it'll automatically deduct $3,000 from their bank account, and then they'd be broke, and then the fucking campaign wouldn't give it back. Like, shit like that. Like, the guy's a fucking con man. That's who you're gonna throw your lot in with? That's who you're gonna join up with? Unbelievable. Here's another one. This is from somebody named Dr. Carol M. Swain. No idea who this person is. Is she famous? I don't know. I'm getting the feeling that they're just random people. I was not able to find very many of these solidarity mugshots, right? I was under the impression that there were a lot more of them, and maybe it's because I waited a little while, maybe because this is like a couple of weeks old at this point, that some people might have deleted them or something like that. I don't know. I did find one, however, from everybody's favorite insane congresswoman, or House Rep, excuse me. Marjorie Taylor Greene made her own photoshopped mugshot to show her solidarity with, and I'm guessing that this is Donald Trump's convict number here, right? Doesn't surprise me that Marjorie Taylor Greene would do one of these as well. I'm wondering if Matt Gaetz has one too. It's pathetic, folks. You know what this really reminds me of? This whole thing with the mugshots. Let's turn this shit off for now. But you know what the mugshot thing really reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of when Hillary Clinton called all of the MAGA people a basket of deplorables. And then they went around wearing t-shirts and shit saying, deplorable, and I'm a deplorable, and all this other stuff. And it's sort of like, that's a reaction that you get from not just conservatives, but people of a certain mindset. You call a guy ugly or whatever, and he just owns it. You call a guy fat, and he just owns it. I notice that conservatives do that a lot. The more you try to shame them, the more they just turn around. And not only do they own it, they wear it as a badge of honor. Because it's sort of like they hate you so much that they take any, like, first, that's what it is. Like, they hate you so much that they feel proud that they've got a reaction out of you, number one. And then sort of like number two, it's like they don't care. Like, shame doesn't work on these people. Like, Donald Trump really could rape a baby on live TV, and then all these people would be wearing, the next day somebody would like create a t-shirt that says baby rapist on it. It's sort of like that I know you are, but what am I approach to political discourse. So things like shame and like appealing to human decency and stuff. All the shit that Republicans used to respond to, at least they used to when it came to Democrats back in the past. That sort of tone policing, shit like that. Like they always used to say this about Democrats, and Democrats are all violent and they all name calling, and they don't have a coherent thought in their heads, blah blah blah, and all they do is insult you, shit like that. They used to say that about Democrats back in the day, and it's like I like how it's just completely changed around now because they don't respond to any of that themselves. That's sort of why the reason why Republicans and conservatives like canceling doesn't work on them. Some conservative politician will get caught cheating on his wife or something. You're supposed to sort of give up and like resign whenever you get caught in a scandal like that. And conservatives don't do that. They just say fuck it, whatever. Kind of like what's that guy's name? George Santos. The guy from New York who's just a complete and utter phony, and everything about him is fake, right? And he's wanted for breaking the law in Brazil and ripping off old ladies and shit like that, and like stealing from people. And I think he even like ran a phony baloney dog charity thing and like would rip off homeless people. Like, guy's a piece of shit. And then all this stuff came out about him, and he just like said, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" And I'm not resigning. Fuck you. Right? And if it was a Democrat, they would resign. Doesn't work on Republicans. Republicans don't have shame. It's because they don't have integrity. Because they're just there for money and power and to personally enrich themselves. Why do you think somebody like George Santos is in Congress to begin with? He's not there to actually help people. He's there to make money for himself. That's why he's there. To get money and power and to get bribes from people and to like take advantage of the law and learn what laws are coming and which companies are going to make money from government contracts so that he can invest in them and stuff like that. That's why George Santos is there. That's why all the Republicans are there. That's why Ted Cruz is there. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is there. That's why Matt Gaetz is there. They're just there to personally enrich themselves. And you can tell who's there for the people and who's there for themselves by not only what they vote for, but how much money they make while they're a senator. Bernie Sanders. Is Bernie Sanders a super rich millionaire? No. He's been in Congress for what, 30 years, 40 years? You'd think he'd be loaded by now. No, he's not super rich. The Democrat from Kentucky, Joe Manchin. Is Joe Manchin like there for people? No, he's there to personally enrich himself. And I'm using an example from the Democratic side on purpose, just so everybody out there doesn't think that I'm biased or whatever, even though I totally am biased. I'm completely 100% biased, but still, it is true that it's not something that's confined to one political party or the other. It's not. It's Republicans and Democrats do it. It's more ideology that determines what you're actually, how effective you are as someone in government. And the more conservative you seem to be, the more likely you are to be there specifically for your own self-serving reasons. That's just how it seems to be. Anyway, folks, got a couple of other things here. Apparently, Donald Trump learned this lesson well and tweeted this mugshot himself on Twitter, which is a big deal because Donald Trump has been sort of not banned from Twitter, but contractually obligated to not use Twitter because he has his own sort of Twitter ripoff thing, Truth Social. That's where he's been confined for the last couple years, ever since they 86'd him on Twitter and he created his own Twitter ripoff. The thing is that he has to post on Truth Social because he signed contracts. So I'm wondering, is Truth Social going to sue him now because he broke that contract, or has the contract expired and now he's allowed to post on Twitter again? I don't know. I guess we'll find out one of these days. Something tells me that he's probably going to pick up Twitter again. The closer the election gets, the more he's going to be tweeting on actual Twitter, because people don't go to Truth Social or any other site. And really, why would you need to now, since Musk took over Twitter X or whatever the fuck it's called. All the conservative chuds and insane people and Nazis and shit have all come back to Twitter, so why the fuck you need to go to True Social? So anyway, apparently he has raised from this mugshot $20 million to his war chest just in August alone, which is good for him because he's going to need that money to pay for all of his legal shenanigans. Here's a tweet that I saw about this by somebody named Colin Rugg. Not sure who this guy is either. He looks like some kind of pundit. New, the Trump campaign has raised a whopping $20 million in the month of August, nearly $10 million of that coming after Trump had his mug shot taken at the Fulton County Jail. According to Fox News Digital, the Trump campaign sold 36,000 t-shirts, 24,000 coffee mugs, and 86,000 posters, all with Trump's mugshot on them. You love to see it. First off, it doesn't surprise me at all that Donald Trump is personally profiting himself from this mugshot. I mean, he'd be stupid not to. We all knew that was going to happen. If a mugshot ever showed up, we obviously knew that he was going to be exploiting it. I mean, to be honest, I would too, so I can't get angry at him for that. What I do think, though, is that calling this a massive backfire is mischaracterizing this situation. I mean, nobody thought that people were going to be like, oh, a mugshot, he's really a criminal now. Nobody thought that was going to happen. That's the first thing. Second thing, calling it a backfire, a massive backfire, kind of necessitates that the arrest was politically motivated to begin with. And I personally don't think these arrests were politically motivated. Because think about it, folks, right? In all four cases, the people who, the attorney generals who indicted Donald Trump have every reason you can possibly think of to not do it. Why? Because they know that, just imagine you're the first person to not only bring a criminal case against an ex-president, but also a criminal case against an ex-president who is really popular with the Republican base and is known for basically known for trying to get retribution, right? All of these different people, all of these different attorney generals must have known the shitstorm that they were going to unleash if they decided to move forward with an indictment. They know that it was going to be a major pain in the ass. They know that they're going to get death threats, that their families are going to be threatened, and that their lives will probably never be the same. And this is happening in all of these cases, not just the attorney generals who brought the suits, but also their staff, also their families. They're all getting death threats, Fannie Willis and whatever, getting death threats, shit like that. And the thing about conservative Trump supporters is that they're fucking unhinged. And we've already had, multiple accounts of violence coming from these people in the past. I mean, shit, they tried to, basically murder Congress on Trump's behalf. So I could fully understand if there was, say, the attorney general in, Georgia or something, deciding to not move forward, or taking a very long time to decide if they're going to actually move forward with a case against Trump. Because here's the other thing you got to think about. Not only is it personally dangerous for them, personally, they may be hurt, their families may be hurt, something like that. Not only is that the case, but if they lose, their careers are over. Think about that, right? So they won't move forward with any of these cases unless they're 100% sure they can get a conviction. There's no maybes about it. Unless, and that's why I kind of think that Trump is up shit creek. Because, think about it. Think about if this was you, and you were the one that was heading the investigation, and you were the one that got to make that decision. Would you do it if you thought there was any chance at all that you might lose? This is why I didn't get so mad at Alvin Bragg, right? Alvin Bragg, you remember him? He's the DA in New York who decided to not pursue a criminal case over Donald Trump's basically financial fraud. He decided not to do it. And I can completely understand why he didn't want to go forward with it, because he didn't want to ruin his life. Because even if he won, people would be threatening him his entire fucking life, right? He'd have to suffer the abuse and shit of crazy MAGA fools for the rest of his fucking life. And if Trump got off, that's it. The end. No more career. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't if you're these people, right? And the fact that they decided to move forward tells me two things. Tells me that, number one, all of their cases are like rock solid. And I would be very surprised. Now, that doesn't mean that Donald Trump is going to be convicted in all four different cases. No. Lots of things can happen. Like in the documents case, the illegal documents case, I wouldn't be surprised if Judge Eileen Cannon gets him off somehow or whatever. Wouldn't be surprised at that at all. But I think that we're going to find that the evidence and the testimony and the police work is rock solid in every case. I think that's something that we're going to find is definitely true. Yeah, not only that, it's like, it also tells me that it's not politically motivated. Because if it was politically motivated, they would have pulled the trigger a long time ago, and it wouldn't matter what the case is about. See, here's the thing about political prisoners, folks, is that why do they call them political prisoners? Because they didn't do anything. That's kind of what a political prisoner is. Somebody who's thrown in prison for political reasons and not because they broke the law, right? Donald Trump doesn't fit that definition. He committed actual real crimes in every case. They didn't just pick him up and throw him in jail just because they felt like it, just to get rid of him, just so that he couldn't run. I mean, if he really was a political prisoner, that's what they would do. They would get a trumped up charge, no pun intended, and throw his ass in Guantanamo Bay. They would accuse him of being a terrorist or something and throw him in Guantanamo Bay, and he would never get a trial, and you'd never hear from him again, because that's what being a political prisoner is. That's what happens to political prisoners in Russia and in North Korea and in all the other totalitarian states out there that Donald Trump admires so much, and in China and in Cuba and everywhere else. They just pick you up, they throw you in a hole, and you're gone. Even in the United States, the people in Guantanamo, for example, they're classified as political prisoners. Whether you think those people are terrorists or not, if they weren't political prisoners, they would get trials. When you throw someone in a hole and you don't give them a trial and you don't give them a lawyer, and they have no way of ever addressing their supposed crimes and defending themselves, they're political prisoners, whether they committed a crime or not. That's what that is, right? When you just hold somebody and you just hold them and you hold them and you hold them forever, and they have no rights and no way to defend themselves, no way to present their case, nobody to talk to in order to finally get free or whatever. When you just don't even bring charges against them, that's what a political prisoner is. Have we done that to Donald Trump? No. We have not. Donald Trump actually committed actual crimes that we have actual evidence of. Anyway, here's my favorite meme that I've seen here from this entire thing. This is, of course, all of the different people in the Trump clown car dressed up as Batman villains. I'm really digging Harley Quinn over here. I don't know why Trump gets to be the Joker. Trump should have been the Penguin. He doesn't look like him. Giuliani, and I guess Giuliani looks more like a penguin because he's bald, but still, Donald Trump shouldn't have been the Joker. He's not good enough to be the Joker, folks. But yeah, looking pretty good. Who's this guy supposed to be? I think that's Egghead. Okay. Catwoman. Okay, Catwoman fits. Nice. Is this oh well, there's two Catwomans. Okay. All right. I guess, is this supposed to be Clayface right here? I don't know. I guess they ran out of villains, huh? They got to have two Clayfaces, or two Catwomen. Got to have two Penguins. Like, this is supposed to be the Penguin. No, 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 no. Okay, Giuliani's the Penguin. I think this guy is... Who is this guy? Who is this guy right here? Is that Black Mask? I don't know. Apparently, I don't know my Batman villains good enough. I'm supposing this dude is Ra's al Ghul. Anyway, I thought that shit was funny. Wanted to share that. Okay, the conspiracy theorists, of course, are having a field day with this shit. Here's one that I saw that was really strange that I wanted to share with you guys here. So this woman is Patriot Princess. She seems to be a sort of QAnon kind of person. And everything is a comm. Let's see what the Patriot Princess has to say.
Everything is a comm. Everything. The storm last night was a live comm. The storm is upon us. No coincidences.
I think she's referring to an actual real storm? Right? Like, when was this? This was August 25th, so this was a few days ago. I mean, is she talking about... Was this the storm that was in LA, that was in Southern California that she's talking about? You know, the hurricane that turned into a tropical storm? I mean, is that what she's trying to say? You're saying that somebody managed to manipulate the weather in order to give you clues from QAnon? Like, so when she says comm, a comm, she means a communication. That's what that means. Comm is, in fact, she has a video where she even says this herself. You know, comm is a communication, just sort of like a cue drop or like a clue that somebody is leaving for us to figure out the greater, bigger puzzle. So, is she basically saying that somebody out there, whether it's Q or whether it's the white hats in the government or whatever the fuck they are, is using like a weather control device in order to put a storm to give us a clue from Q? Like, is this supposed to make sense? I don't know.
Not time lapse. This is not sped up. There's actual freaking lightning going on right now. This is insane.
The booking info: 6'3", 215 pounds. Added up, 17.
All right. Well, now, okay. Another thing that you guys should know, or if you don't know already, is that QAnon people are really into numerology. You know, they call it grammatia or whatever it's called, where you basically assign a letter to a number, and then you add that up, and you're supposed to get like secret codes and shit. So, what is she saying here? Anyone listening knows that this is a fake movie. Good Guys in Control. Booking says 6'3", 215 pounds fake. At least 250 pounds. That's true. Trump probably weighs, if I had to guess, I would say Trump weighs around 260. If I had to guess. Maybe, probably more, because he's got a giant fat ass. And if he's 6 feet tall, then he's got to be like around 260, 270 to have an ass that big. But that's just, my opinion. 3 plus 2 plus 1, right, 6 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 5 equals 17. Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. So she's trying to say here that Donald Trump's fake, phony, baloney height and weight that he self-reported because he's too insecure to admit that he's fat and short is a secret message from Q. I guess. Continuing.
Don Jr.'s post: Trump in the brick suit. Bricks.
What? What about the bricks?
The mugshot.
What about the bricks? Why did she do that? What's significant about the bricks? See, that's another thing that conspiracy theorists do all the time is that they will say some shit like she just did and then leave it hanging like it's a question, and then you're supposed to fill in the gaps, right? So it means nothing. It means nothing. She probably doesn't even know what the fuck it would mean. But what did she do? She said, "What about the bricks?" And then she zoomed in on herself and gave you that sort of kind of look, saying that what you're supposed to do is then fill in your head. Oh, bricks are synonymous and symbolic of blah 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 blah, right? Alex Jones does this kind of shit all the time, where they just allude to stuff, and it makes it sound like, I'm just asking questions, I'm just saying. And in real life, it doesn't fucking mean anything. That's, what you gotta remember, right? It doesn't mean anything. This woman doesn't know anything. She doesn't have, access to the super secret info. She's making this shit up as she goes along, right? Because she's a goddamn idiot. Moving on.
Two different Trumps.
Two different Trumps. What? It looks like one Trump to me. What are they trying to, is that a conspiracy too? That this is not Donald Trump? I didn't know that. What is that supposed to mean? What, his doppelganger got arrested? There was a conspiracy theory for a long time that there were multiple Trumps and that each one would wear a different tie. And I'm not making this shit up either. This is also a QAnon thing where apparently Donald Trump has body doubles or clones or some shit. And they all have different personalities depending on what fucking stupid color tie they're wearing. That apparently is fucking... So maybe that's what she's saying. Maybe this is one of Trump's clones or something.
One half looks like Biden, one half looks like Trump. Biden's pretending to be the president, but he's not. So who's gonna get arrested? Biden? Is that what this is showing us?
Jesus Christ, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That is the stupidest thing. Okay, let's go back and open up the mugshot again. Okay, before we continue. It doesn't look like two halves of a different face to me. It looks like the same face. And you know what they're looking at? They're seeing that this side has this wrinkle and this side doesn't. But if you look, the wrinkle's right there. Right? Donald Trump's face is mostly symmetrical. It's because there's big heavy wrinkles here because that's where the lighting is. Alright? Because it's on this side you don't see the wrinkles as much because it's darker lighting. But on this side you do because he's all frowny and shit. Right. So, and which side is supposed to look like Trump and which side is supposed to look like Biden? I mean, they both look like Trump to me. Right? It doesn't make any sense. It's like and that's the thing, conspiracy theories never have to make sense. They never have to be internally consistent. Think about what this woman just said. Think about if what she said is true, right? That somebody photoshopped this picture to put half of a Trump that looks like Joe Biden as a secret message for that Joe Biden is going to be arrested. Why would anybody have to do that? In real life, just think about it in real life. Why would anybody have to do that? Why, if there really was a secret force out there controlling the government, why would they make a clue for Detective Dumbass here to decipher at home? Why would they do that? Because in real life, when somebody takes over a government, when there's a coup d'etat, when there actually are sort of these kinds of hidden forces, do they ever actually do that in real life? No, they don't. They don't do that. They just go and they arrest you. Saddam Hussein, for example, in Iraq. Would Saddam Hussein put out clues and shit for the people at home to decipher about who he's going to arrest next? Would he put secret codes and stuff in the media and hide them in movies and things to, like, reveal his plans before he enacted them. No, he wouldn't do that. He would just show up at someone's house and send the secret police to someone's house and drag them away and then shoot him in the head if he wanted to, like, kill a political opponent or something. Does Putin do that? Does Putin put out little secret codes and hints and stuff in movies and media and that kind of thing? Or does he just shoot down an airplane if you're in it and he doesn't like you? Does he just throw you out of a fucking window? Like, which one of those is true? So why the hell would they do it here? Like, it's the dumbest fucking shit ever. Like, what reason, even if it was real, even if there was a cabal or whatever, the Illuminati, a secret council of fucking reptilian Jewish shapeshifter aliens, or whatever the fuck they're supposed to be, and it really existed, why would they be putting clues to their nefarious plans in the media for people at home to discover? What possible fucking reason would they have to do that? Zero reason. That's what they would have, because there's no reason to do that, because that's dumb. That's dumb. That's some kind of dumbass fucking fantasy that these people have cooked up over decades because they're insane. It's stupid. And these people feel useless at home because they got nothing going for themselves. And so they want to, like, they have no control over their lives or whatever. And so they latch on to these elaborate fantasies because it makes them feel special. It makes them feel like, oh, I've got the super secret info. I know the things that you don't know. It's really quite sad.
So this is Biden's mugshot. Even the letters in his...
This is Biden's mugshot. Don't you get that rationale there? Like, did you see... All right, let's rewind that one more time, because I think that is significant, right? I want to follow the logic. This is the conspiracy theory logic, right?
Half looks like Trump. Biden's pretending to be the president, but he's not. So who's gonna get arrested? Biden? Is that what this is showing us? So this is Biden's mugshot?
Do you see the incredible leaps of logic? Right. We have a mugshot that is clearly Donald Trump. Clearly Donald Trump. No one is disputing that it's Donald Trump. It comes from an official mugshot from the police department, right? Even the Trump administration, not administration, but the Trump campaign is making millions of dollars from this mugshot. And this woman has used incredibly ridiculous and unlikely leaps of logic to claim that not only is the mugshot not Donald Trump, but it's of somebody completely fucking different. How does that make sense? How does it make sense? It doesn't. I don't understand. That's the thing, is that I don't understand how anybody can make that association. It just, even when I was into conspiracy theories, I wouldn't have bought that shit. Put it that way. I was really into conspiracy theories about 20 years ago. I was like, kind of an expert on this shit. At least I was then, not so much now. And even then, even at the height, when I was like doing shit like watching Alex Jones and stuff like that, I still wouldn't have believed that. That would have sounded like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's like, I don't know. There's only 30 seconds left. Let's watch the rest.
Even the letters in his post of his mugshot, Zakam, spells out end.
This is a thing that I've seen posted around on Reddit. So now he's putting secret codes. Election interference, never surrender. Like, end of what? I mean, I think it's the end of the fucking Trump train, if you ask me. Beginning of the end, but what is it supposed to be? The end of something. And then here's the other thing. Okay, so maybe it's the end, alright? When is the end going to happen? When is the storm going to happen? The Q people have been talking about the storm for what? What's it been? 6 years now? When did all this Q shit start? 2017? Right around there, right? 6 years through the entire Trump administration, through him losing the election, through him trying to take over, trying to steal the election, all that shit. What the fuck are they waiting for? What are they waiting for, right? This is the whole, Q, the whole Q thing is supposed to be that there's a good group of good guys in the government, the white hats, who are one day going to revolt and take over, arrest all of the Democrats, and publicly execute them. And we just keep waiting around for it. When's it going to happen? Why do they keep pushing it back? How come they didn't do it when Donald Trump was the president? How come they didn't do it that? Why are they waiting so goddamn long? Right? It kind of reminds me, it's, when you say QAnon is a religion, it's like, it really fucking is. It's just like the second coming of Jesus, and how just any day now he's going to come on back. And they said that Jesus was supposed to come back during the lifetime of his apostles, and then that didn't happen. And then it was supposed to happen at the year 1000, and then that didn't happen. And then it was supposed to happen in 1917 or whatever, according to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and then that didn't happen. Then Harold Camping said it was going to happen in 2011. Remember that guy, Harold Camping? His followers went out and sold their houses and shit and bought billboards because they thought fucking the rapture was going to happen, and then that didn't happen. So it's like, when the fuck is it going to happen? When the fuck is Jesus going to come back? When are all the people just going to disappear and fly up into the sky? Right? I'm waiting for that shit, because when that happens, I want to go claim me a mansion or something. I'm going to go find some super rich Christian guy. I'm going to go to Creflo Dollar's house and take his house after he gets floated off into heaven. How long are we going to fucking wait around for this? It's embarrassing. And I don't know. Moving on.
Everything is a con. Everything. Stay united. We are.
She did that on purpose. Oh my god. Everything. Zoom in, zoom out. Oh my god. So incredibly cringeworthy.
The Patriots. Stay united and stay focused.
Nice picture. As if Donald Trump even knows how to play chess. That's funny shit. Oh my god. The conspiracy theorists just never disappoint with their ridiculous terminal levels of cringe. Most ridiculous shit ever. And what's really funny is that person is sitting at home all smug and stuff. Thinking that she just sat there and said, nailed it. After she uploaded that. Fucking pathetic, folks. One more thing here that I want to talk about here. This is a take from, let's go ahead and open this up. This is Don Jr.'s take. Oh, in fact, I already got it open. Haha. Something else I saw here. Let's go ahead and we can actually zoom in on this, but I want to reduce the size of the window so we don't get copyright struck. This is Don Jr. saying that black people like Donald Trump now because he got arrested.
After the mugshot, over the weekend, the African American community, the black community, is rallying behind Donald Trump, and they're pointing to the mugshot, saying, "Look, we've been saying this all along. We've been getting what the treatment Trump's getting now all along. It's a phenomenon. I'm sure Fonnie Willis and Chutnick and the rest of them never saw coming." Alvin Bragg, go ahead.
Yeah, well, listen, you saw the crowds screaming for the motorcade. I mean, they were for Trump in Fulton County, which let's just say wasn't prior, but they get it. It was interesting, Eric. I spoke on Friday night, at the Reawaken tour out in Las Vegas. There were 5,000 people under a tent. And the people that actually struck me the most were not people in attendance. It was the security guards at the event, a group of them, and on 3 separate occasions. African-American men came up to me. They go, "Hey, man, we're never voting for that other guy. We get all of this stuff." It was like they were going out of their way to let me know that they understood exactly what was going on. And I was like, man.
Okay. That is something that didn't happen. What Don Jr. just said was a complete and total lie. I hope you all understand that. No black people went up to Don Jr. and said, "We are going to vote for Trump now." Like, why? Because he got a mugshot taken of him? Are you fucking serious? Like, first off, think about like the complete ridiculous racism that implies. Saying that all it takes for black people to like you is to get arrested. Like, are you fucking serious? That is the stupidest shit I've ever. Stupidest, most blatantly racist shit. Like, of all fucking time. So incredibly racist. I mean, damn. You know, they accuse, like, Democrats of taking, like, black people for granted. But look at that right there. It's like not only is he just using black people as props, it's also sort of like just basically assuming every black person on earth is like a criminal, so much so that they'll like you if you're a criminal too. Is that what he's trying to fucking say? Like every single black person out there is like, "Oh, I wasn't going to vote for him, but now that I saw that he's actually been arrested, he's one of us now." Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. You know, and that's the thing that, the thing is Trump has been arrested 3 times before this. So how come he didn't get this giant jump in black solidarity before that? Because he didn't have a mugshot, so what, black people are too stupid to understand that he got arrested? Like, you have to have a photo for them to understand? Like, so dumb. So fucking dumb and racist. So incredibly racist and dumb. So, that's fucking, oh my god. That just blew me away right there. Like, here's the other thing. So, the video he's talking about is the Trump motorcade driving away, and there's people in the street kind of watching, and some of them are cheering. And some of those people are black people. And it's like, well, yeah, because they were going through like a black neighborhood, right? Because it's Georgia. Black people live in Georgia. And, here's the other thing. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe that particular district didn't go to Trump, but that doesn't mean that no one in that district voted for Trump, right? Plenty of black people are Republicans as well. That's the other thing. It's like, like minorities are just not monoliths. Okay. The vast majority of black people vote Democrat, but not all of them do. There's plenty of conservatives in the black community, right? Why? Because there's plenty of religious people in the black community. That's why. The more religious you are, the more likely you are to vote Republican. More likely you are to be a conservative. And that's absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how shit sort of, shakes out. So don't assume that just because your color of your skin dictates your politics. That's not true at all. That's never been true. It just so happens that most people who are black vote a certain way, but not all of them, especially in the South. Because generally, the more conservative you are, the more likely you are to live in the South. It's just like how it is. Or let me put it the other way. People who live in the South are more likely to be conservative, regardless of their skin color. That's just true. So why is it such a big fucking deal if black people are cheering for Donald Trump? Right? I mean, does it mean that all of them suddenly like decided they liked him just because he had a fucking mugshot? Like, dumbest fucking shit ever. Absolutely fucking dumb. So, I don't know, folks. Our country is fucking ridiculous. I guess this is the best that we can hope for. We didn't see any violence over Donald Trump's mugshot, and I'm actually kind of happy to see that through all of his arrests so far this year, the 4 times that he's been busted, nobody has actually like tried to actually hurt anybody. Nobody has gone and committed a mass shooting or any kind of like act of terrorism that I know about. And it's really disgusting to see that, yeah, these prosecutors and police and the DAs and stuff are getting death threats and stuff like that. That's really kind of messed up, but it's par for the course. We all kind of knew that was going to happen, and to be honest, they knew it was going to happen too. They know what the risks are, and I commend them for being brave and deciding that justice has to be served. So it's just really sad that our country is turning into a fucking circus full of clowns. And it's getting worse and worse every year. This next election is going to be the biggest fucking clown show ever. That's all I gotta. It will be an endless source of mirth and merriment and memes and possible danger. And I don't know. All I can say is that I am very, very happy to be able to vote again and contribute to a third Trump loss. Get out there and vote, folks. Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.